My biggest winners and losers of the 2025 NBA playoffs will start in the East, and we talk about winners first, the Indiana Pacers. Now, a lot of this has to do with expectations. We don't typically see the number one offense translate well into the NBA playoffs, but theirs has. We also saw Tyrese Halliburton and the same team not finish well last year. He also got a bunch of DNPs in the Olympics, and it was kind of like a corny player that all of a sudden has earned our total respect, and he's a bona fide star in the league. The Detroit Pistons are the second winner in the East. Nobody thought that after 14 wins and one coaching change, they could go from that bad of a team to almost winning a first-round series. Now, Cade probably needs a number two, and I'm not sure if he's on the roster yet, but they're one piece away from being a serious contender every year in the East. Now, jumping to the West, the Houston Rockets are my first winner. Brand new coach, new team success. And they don't have a guy in the league that you would say is clearly a top 15 guy, yet somehow they're making noise. I think if they play the Warriors again next year in that same series, it's probably a 4-1, 4-2 win in their favor. The Oklahoma City Thunder are my second winner in the West because they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing as the number one seed, which is pretty uncommon this year being included. Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein were huge additions, along with Shea taking the next step as a competitor, as a winner, as an offensive playmaker, helped turn that team into what could be a really good team into what could be possibly as the best team in the NBA. Now for the losers in the NBA playoffs. We'll start in the West with the LA Clippers because they have an owner who's willing to give the resources and give anything it will take to bring a championship to LA that's not the Lakers. Yet they can't get it together. You have a coach who's a really good coach, but Harden plus Kawhi is not a 1-2 punch that scares any teams, and isn't a 1-2 punch that's going to get you out of the first round. We've seen that year after year after year. The Golden State Warriors. Steph's getting older. Jimmy Butler, you brought him in as a number two. He's not that guy. You have nobody that can defend the wing. You don't have a ton of rebounders, and you don't have any real trade pieces to package up for a superstar like a Giannis that the Bucks would ever accept. Not to mention, when Steph retires, that franchise value is going to go way down for the Golden State Warriors. Now, our last loser in the West is the Memphis Grizzlies, because what are they? They at one point were the darling of the West. They were the team that's next up. We thought Ja was the new face of the league. Then his off-court issues happened. He got hurt. And the rest of the guys on the team didn't really take the leap you expected them to because their nucleus wasn't together. And so now you got a really expensive roster. You don't know if Ja is your number one. There really isn't a number two on that team that you really can trade away for another piece. You're kind of stuck in limbo, and it's kind of like, should we trade everybody away and then tank? Biggest losers in the East are in two categories, most obvious and least obvious. Start with least obvious. The Orlando Magic and the Milwaukee Bucks are two of the biggest losers in the East because both of these teams are clearly not equipped to win and win now. They're not an Eastern Conference team, they're not a title team, and they don't have the pieces to get that done. And so it's kind of like, should we trade everybody away? Should we trade a couple pieces away for a superstar? Like, we're not gonna get any free agents, so what are we right now? And then lastly, the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Both going out as not expected. The Celtics losing Tatum for probably a full next season. And then the Cavs don't really have a number two, and we're not sure if Donovan Mitchell is good enough to be a number one. And so both of those teams are also losers, despite being 1 and 2 and not getting anywhere near the Eastern Conference Finals.